Okay, all right. All right, we got Kevin Rhodes. He's watching. How you doing, Mr. Rhodes? What's on your mind tonight? Pretty sure you're up to something. There's Jesse. What's up, Jesse? Man, it's been a long time, Jesse. Cousin Robert, how you doing, cousin? What's on your mind tonight? What's on your mind tonight, cousin? Man, we're just having an open panel right here, man. You know, discussing various topics, you know, and I'm looking for somebody to share the screen with. Perhaps Mr. Rhodes, Kevin Rhodes, be willing to share the screen. Maybe he has something to talk to the people about. I'm actually waiting on a few people to come into the room before we really get going. But I'm thankful for you guys being here. So tonight's topic is this, it's knowing thyself. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Jesse, what about you? You know what that term means, knowing thyself? And if you do, what does it mean to you? I'm going to try and do a couple of invites for people that I'm waiting for so they'll know that I'm here. So bear with me, guys. Just bear with me. Let's just get a few more of these guys here. And we can get the ball rolling. We're going to be here for a little while. I'm going to be here for a little while. All right. Okay. All right. I think we're looking pretty good for my invites. We're just waiting. You know, we're waiting on people. They get a little camera shy. So again, the topic is knowing thyself. And just what does that mean to you? Just waiting on a few more people. All right, while we're waiting, we're just going to kind of touch on this a little bit. All right. Let's say and knowing thyself. That's an example. I'm giving an example of what I'm in the way I'm using it. Like, let's say if you if you are a coach to a basketball team or football team, whatever, and you got 10 players, you know, and each person plays a different role. You as the coach would have to know who is good at doing what in order for you to have a successful play, right? You don't just use the quarterback as a lineman, right? There's a strategic way that you do that, right? So you as the coach are knowing the people. We're not even talking about the people knowing themselves at this point. We're just talking about the observation of the coach, just so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm saying here. He takes everything in consideration. He takes everything in consideration. He considers, you know, who can run, how fast, and how far. And so, as he's analyzing all these different principles of all these different people, that same practice should be analyzed within yourself. So, as I'm looking for people to ask me questions or give me their example of what knowing thyself is, if someone can do it as an observation for you, and they'll make changes. If you're not fast, they'll say, hey man, you know, we may have 2 linemen, you know, or a backup quarterback or something, because just in case something happens, right? So if you yourself don't know yourself mechanically, like the observer or someone watching you is using you for their purpose in that same manner, you don't really know yourself. And how to make the adjustments to become to know yourself. So that's just kind of like the idea of the topic. I mean, the football coach himself, he would make necessary adjustments. You know, particularly if he's expecting to win the game, he'll make some cuts, he'll add something to, you know, make whatever adjustments are made. But we, as the person that's having the adjustments made upon us, don't make the adjustments for ourselves in the observation of knowing ourselves. And that's what we want to get into. Why do we just go along to get along? Why doesn't it matter if something doesn't feel right, just to go with it anyway? Why do we do that? Do we really know ourselves at all? Or are we just doing what others do? This is what I want to talk about. So we have a question from Ronnie Harris. It says, how many people I want to read it first before I read it out loud. How many people out there? Well, we were all out there at one point, not understanding what not understanding what consciousness is, or having an understanding of what consciousness is, or even of where they're going. Because once you become woke about the road that you're on, I was having a discussion today. I'm just going to talk to you. With and let's just say a neighbor friend, and I was giving him because he's a Christian, so I was trying not to be offensive, but I was trying to be firm in my analogy. So I used the Wizard of Oz as an example. Now you got Dorothy. She need to get her ass on. You got the Scarecrow. He needs some shit. You got the Tin Man, the Lion. Everybody needs something, right? Even the dog is in need to get back to the house. So everybody is in need, but they are on one road that is going to lead them to a path that will ultimately give them the things that it is that they're looking for. As far as they are concerned, as long as they stay on the right road, which in this case is a yellow brick one, that it will lead them to a place where they will be able to have those personal issues addressed. Now, when they get to this place, remember, everybody's in need of something. When they get to this place, they have to see someone that they suspect is greater than them, or more powerful than them, or has the ability to grant them the things that they. I mean, the lion need a heart. So the damn Tin Man, I think he needs some damn oil or something. So they don't all need the same thing. Not even the same thing that's in common. You know, it's not even commonly the same thing. Is what I'm trying to say. So, but they all believe that the Oz is going to be able to grant them all their each and every independent need. So he began to get the idea that where I was going with that, it's like when we go to church. You know, everybody, you got grandma in the car, she needs something. You know, the grandbabies, they need something. Everybody's got a problem, an issue. If not, they told they got one that they got to go and have addressed at the church. So they all get in the one car, and when you get there, on your way there, or things to that. I'm not now. Here, let me give a disclaimer first before I start going in. I'm not here to bash anybody's religion. I'm not here to say anybody's faith and what they do is right or wrong, good or bad. Just whatever works for you works for you. But if you knew better, you do better. I mean, that goes for everybody, right? So that's not a religious statement. That's just that's just something that is. So the only thing I'm trying to be is informative. We just give you information. I'm passionate about this. I learned some things that just turned me all the way around. This isn't me. You guys don't normally see me. You know, this isn't. I'm doing other things. You know, but nonetheless, I just want to put that out there. I miss you too, nephew. I just want to put that out there because I don't want anybody to think that of me. Because that's not what it is. I'm not trying to do that. But I am trying to make a point. All right? And I'm using what we commonly know in terms that we commonly use to get there. All right? So now, we continue. So, now, they all in need of some stuff, right? The Tin Man, the Lion, and everybody, they off to see the wizard. So when they get there, the wizard is something that's don't look like them particularly. It's much greater than them. It appears much greater than them. It appears large in size. It appears great in volume when it speaks. It's just fire or smoke and eyes is red. So it has all these attributes that looks, pretty powerful. So as they're there, they're all processing their problems and dealing with, they're gathering themselves to deal with this Oz. One goes around the back, right, and notices. Well, let's say one goes around the back and notices behind the curtain, looks behind the curtain, just left field. He's out there, he's scary, he's saying all this fiery, smoky stuff and telling everybody, you got to do this, and what do you want, and come here, and all that stuff, and go around the back and look behind the curtain. And what you see that's behind the curtain, once you see, okay, once you see what's behind the curtain, you can't go back around to the front of where everybody else is still being theatrically terrified and be afraid. It just wouldn't happen once you're aware of what's going on behind the curtain. So this is another one of those, knowing thyself would be knowing what's behind the curtain. So I got, well, hold on, we got another question. It's like we got a question from, are you of Christian faith? uh, no. Nope. Since you just gonna put that out there like that, and you just gonna nope. I'm just gonna put that out there. Nope. Next question. Anyway, so this is one of the principles of knowing thyself. Now, again, now let's take that same scenario I just used, as to say you discovered what was behind the curtain. Bring that back to the football man, the football team. With the coach, once the coach has to know what's behind the curtain in order for him to be successful in everything happening, right? So this is one of the things. If the coach knows you and uses the same principle to negotiate a deal or to negotiate a game, to his advantage, you should be able to do it for yourself. So just look behind your own curtain, and I guess that would be the best way to say that. Look behind your own curtain and ask yourself, are you whatever religion or faith that you say you are? Look behind your own curtain and then come back in front of yourself and ask you, are you still what you were before you saw what was behind that curtain? Now, if you look behind the curtain and you don't see anything, look behind that, because there's something there. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this obedient behavior. I want to say we wouldn't be in this obedient behavior under almost hypnotically. Because again, once you look around from the back of that curtain, if you go back into the front where Dorothy and the dog and the lion, once you go back around there and you begin to act like the rest of them, then you're just acting at that point. You're not fooling nobody. Not even fooling yourself. You're just acting. So again, look behind the curtain of your own belief and ask yourself, are you that thing? And then go from there. I guess that kind of stirred me up a little bit. May I have another step? Okay, Ronnie makes a statement. It says, I believe in God. I believe in God, but I can only believe in a God that is not part of this system. What is Christian? I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I would really love to have Kevin Rhodes join the panel to give us an example, if he's a Christian, of what a Christian is. But I'll give you an example of what I known it to be. I'm trying to be careful how I answer this because, and I don't need to be careful. I should just go ham. But I'm trying to be careful on how I answer this question. A Christian would be someone who follows a religious faith of a greater deity or of a deity that's greater than them. And let me see if there's two. Right. And you're right. Ronnie, you got a point. There is no easy way to crack the egg. You got a point. But I need to, because I'm not sure where everybody is, and I know a lot of people is not woke to these principles. Again, because if they look behind their, if they are, then they are just going along to get along, which again is just. powerless act, in my opinion. Because only the head of the pack is the head. The rest is the pack. Absolutely, Ivy. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm mindful of what I believe and how I believe, because that word carries, uh, a belief. For me, I understand belief to be a vehicle to take you from what you don't know to what you know. Belief would be like the car that you would get in when you're questioning something, you're thinking, you're trying to get it off, you're going through it. Excuse me. I think, in my opinion, belief would be the vehicle that gets you from questioning something to knowing something. But again, to where you're know, once you get to where you're knowing it, then you need to drop the belief system, because then it turns into other things. Um, like the same gentleman I was talking about earlier today. I was saying, he was putting emphasis on the significance of how well he knows God, and that's fine, and that's great. There's no problem with that. Or he's putting significance on how he believes in God. But I was trying to get him well, I wasn't trying to get him to understand. I gotta be mindful of how I'm wording this. Where I'm coming from it, or what I shared with him was, if you know God, you don't need to believe in God. Now that may sound crazy, and some of you guys may say, "Ooh, how dare him say something like that? I know him when he used to do." And you're right. I'm the same person I used to be, and I just have more angles to look at once. You know how a crime scene. Let's say a crime scene, right? You go to a crime scene. Something goes on. The cops come. When the cops get there, you know, they get the eyewitness account. They get the basic principles. They tape up. They put the yellow tape around so nobody can come around. They get the account. This guy says he's seen a yellow car. You think it could have been beige, so it's questionable. So, but they get just what they can gather right then. But then they leave and they tape the scene off so no one touches it, right? And then they get all the statements that they can, and then they leave. Why do they leave? They wait because the forensics team comes in, right? What do? They turn over every rock. They check every stove. They look at the notes that the officers give them. They see that, but they still even cross-examine that. Like, wait a minute. First he said it was yellow. Now he's saying it's beige. This person's word is out of there, but it's still in the note from the officer. So the officer's perspective of it would be the non-conscious perspective of it. The conscious perspective of it would be the forensics. You see, they're two different styles of investigating the facts. So consciousness would be the forensics and the facts, opposed to, or consciousness would be the the forensics team, the collection of intel that came from years of intel about what's going on around. So the officer may have one or two notes, right? The crime scene investigator is going to have 20 notes each. One perspective is just giving you one perspective. The other one gives you a greater analysis of it. Again, we're talking about knowing thyself. So as you begin to know yourself, you begin to become one of those people in the forensics. You see where the officer was coming from, or what I see what he was saying. I see, what he was, because he's limited in what he can do. He can only do so much. He's got to move to let me in. So I'm looking at his you know, description of what happened, or his findings or his discoveries, right? And those are his true facts that he got from those people, right? But we're not saying that those people are telling the truth, but we are saying that what his discovery is, allegedly, is the truth, right? So we get we just get his perspective of it, which only has a limited amount of intel. Consciousness, again, gives you a greater amount. It turns you back into that coach we was talking about, the football coach, right? That's the consciousness guy. He's manipulating the circumstance to gain a particular outcome. But the player, the quarterback, his focus is just making sure he does just that one thing. You know, the lineman, that's his job. He doesn't play that other guy's role. They all got their roles. But the coach, he knows why each one is playing what role for what reason, and then he's getting it from somewhere. You see what I'm saying? So there's a forensics overlook again, you know, which is a greater perspective of it. But hey, you guys, I've been ranting on for a minute. Seeing if I think there was a follow-up question. Ronnie states, in my opinion, churches today are all about brainwash. Hey, if you guys afraid of getting your name mentioned, because, you know, this is just, you know, we're just talking about some things on real life term now, you know, so people don't want your name mentioned, you know, man, make a Facebook with an alias or something, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, just send me a cue card or something, you know. I want to acknowledge you for partaking in the topic, but if there's going to be a consequence behind you being cross-examined or saying something that gets cross-examined and the revelation becomes out to be something that you was, yeah, I just don't want to be that. I've had that issue, and I'm doing away with that. So I'm just keeping that in mind. This is my disclaimer again. I'm not bashing nobody. I'm not trying to, you know, do that at this point. No, I'm just messing with you. I just want to say that because I had an issue before with when I done doing the show with one of the viewers, and it didn't work out. It just didn't work out. So I don't want to do that again. So say what you mean what you say. Create a nickname for yourself. Make a fake Facebook, whatever. Come on as an alias. I'll refer to you as that. But if you pop up on air, what's your name? How you doing, Sandra? It's been so long. It's been 30 years. No, it ain't been that long, but it's been a while. Just, you know, I don't want to address you. If you don't want to be addressed by this, don't come out like that. Because again, we just rolling with this, and topics are going to get pretty intense, and I don't want to be, you know, the reason y'all go ham. All right, I just want to follow up with that. All right, Ronnie states, I don't know if you guys can read these or not, but I wanted just to read the statement before I read it to you. It says, Ronnie states, there's a great deal of people starving from the information that we're holding from them. We've learned from scholars, and we're teaching young brothers and sisters, to be awake. And you're absolutely right, Ronnie. You're absolutely right. But I don't want to drop a boulder in the middle of the building before they have a chance to get out. I want to be fair. I don't want to drop a boulder in the middle of the building where our people may be before they have a fair chance to get out. So, and again, I'm going to say this a few more times as we go, because it's going to get more graphic, it's going to get more personal, because I know some of these people that's on my panel, or that's on my view on that's viewing this right here, and I know they may come on one time into the chat room live with me, and you'll be able to hear them talking like you hear me talking, and they subject to express themselves differently. So if that was to be, I just want everyone listening, everyone watching to know that this whole purpose of this live stream is just to kind of give some people some ideas, to try and give some people some ideas about different views on things, you know. And I know, like Ronnie was saying, he knows I'm holding back some of this data because he knows me personally, but nonetheless, I just don't want to drop a boulder in the middle of a building without people giving a fair chance to get out. So having said that, we're just going to play these first few shows just by ear, and to kind of let people kind of decide if they want to listen in and be a part of it or not. Because I don't want to get a bunch of backbite. I mean, I don't mind debating. That's great. I don't mind, you know, just sharing ideas and discussing things. You know, I'm learning. I can learn. You know, I can be taught. That's how I know what I know. I'm okay with that. I'm just harder to fool now. Much harder to trick. So your level of intellect has had to have at least be, you know, enough to where you can I get some dopamine out of it, you know. So otherwise we're not going to get into that real significant stuff if we're out there just playing around, you know. But once it really starts getting there, it's going to start changing some things, and those that continue to watch and listen, it's inevitable that will happen. You will be changed if you continue to listen in on these as we go. You will not remain the same under any circumstance. I don't know how big or how small or how good or how bad, though I don't really believe in those terms. I try not to deal with good or bad personally. That's for others to deal with. But man, I just appreciate everybody, and I don't want to be offensive, you know. But Ronnie, we are slowly but surely, and we ain't got that much time, so we really shouldn't be taking our time with it. But you know, if more people would speak their mind, or maybe even, you know, find a unique way to open up the discussion so others can learn about these things that we know, it'll help. It really will help. Adam asks me, what is life to you on my square? What is life to you on your square is the question from Adam. What is life to me on my square? I don't really understand. I don't know what on my square. I don't know what type of term what you mean on my square. I don't know exactly what that means. What is life to me on my square? You got to be a little bit more particular with your question, please. What's up, Jerry? Old Schools came out. I ain't seen you guys in a minute. Y'all, don't forget to hit that like button, man. That's big. Again, I'm just going to read a statement from one of the viewers. It says, it's just coming from Ronnie. It says, keep my name out there. Again, I want to let you guys know, after this, I'm not sure if you can see this as it's happening, but after this live stream is over and I post it up and it's, you know, reviewable, then I think you guys will be able to see each other's comments and things at that point. I'm not sure if you can at this point. That's why if I discover that to be, you can read it as I read it, then I can just reply to it other than reading it back to you. All right, so this is coming from Ronnie. He says, keep my name out there on the wavelength, because once you've conscious, you will not go for the story that you heard 10,000 times. Yeah, 10,000 times over at the Sunday school, and it's done nothing for you. That was a statement. Looks like a statement from Kevin. I was having problems with the way the church was I need to make sure I pre-read yours all the time. Was paying tithes and the amount you should give. You was having problems with the way that the church, you should have a problem with the church having you pay tithes anyway. Despite the negotiating thereof, the problem is that you're paying them. And the greater problem isn't necessarily that the church is getting it, is that you're giving it. Ronnie asking, Christianity, is the third eye a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I used to practice Christianity pretty significantly. And again, Christianity in itself did not do me any wrong. It didn't harm me itself. You know, it wasn't like it's not bad in a way to where you get bad out of the story. You see what I'm saying? It's what's bad about it is that the story is your perspective of the story. It's the way that the story is being portrayed. I don't want to say portrayed because maybe that word doesn't fit, but the way that the story is being delivered. You know, you're carrying, it's like if you were grabbing at the grocery market, right? And I was putting groceries in your bag. If I know X amount of bottles will rip the bag, but you don't know that, if I put the exact amount of bottles that's going to cause you a tear before you get home, it's kind of like that. If that makes any sense to you, you know what I'm saying? It's good for you. You can. It's not intention. Intention isn't for you to not make it home with the grocery bag, right? It's just that you don't know that the bag has a limited amount of integrity. You know, you don't know the physics of the bag. You don't know the cosmetics of it. To you, it's just a bag to have some things in and trying to take it home with it. But you don't know the makeup of it and how it works and how much would it take to cause a tear. Because you could buy one less item and be fine, right? But if you don't know how much the bag can hold, then you will just, or the cashier will just put in there more than enough, or that can cause the bag to tear. And it can only last for so long if you don't. So everything has a purpose. I guess that's what I'm saying. Everything has a purpose. So it's good in its purpose, but not everything serves a purpose for everybody. You know, it's like the jack-o'-lantern, the Halloween, right? When you're a kid, it's scary. When you're grown, it's not, right? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Yeah. You know, like the Bible says when you're a child, you thought like a child, right? When you become an adult, you're supposed to put those childlike thoughts away. But nothing changed in your thoughts. Then you were thinking from your God's perspective as a child, as a man. So where have you grown? Where have you learned yourself or for yourself? I'm getting a phone call. Just please, during my live stream, if you know I'm live streaming, don't call me. Okay, I don't know how we got there. I got away from that. Ronnie asked if in Christianity is the third eye a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh God, my last
question. In Christianity, is the third eye a good thing or a bad thing? Again, yeah, if a Christian doesn't, or it doesn't matter if it's a Christian, if one doesn't understand what this third eye is and he's told it's bad and that's all he knows, like he's told that the apple in the pig's mouth makes it taste good, and you shouldn't be eating the pig anyway. So it's kind of like that. If you don't know what your third eye is and you only know what you were told your third eye is, then for a Christian, as when I was a Christian, it wasn't a good thing. I put it that way. It wasn't something that my fellow brethrens would discuss. Several things we wouldn't discuss, but particularly that. That wasn't even something they suggest I continue to talk about or even think about or even deal with, or whoever gave me the information about that is the so I guess as a Christian, and it probably wouldn't be a bad thing, but if a Christian as a person would know the science and the hieroglyph of the third eye, then no, it wouldn't be a bad thing, but they wouldn't be able to be a Christian as well. So kind of gotta love one and hate the other. Did you hear that before? All right, my next question. I was having a okay. Oh yeah, yep, I dealt with that one. What's up, nephew? I'm just not seeing that. Norman states, let's get on division gospel religious. Eschar is about dividing us as one. A scar. I may be down. You guys may have got ahead of me. Norman, if you're still out there, man, can you elaborate a little bit? So not just me, but the other people online can know what a scar is. Yeah. What's up, old school Jakub? I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that, man. Norman states, believing in religion is dividing us as a people, is what I think. Well, you know what, Norman, I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Now, this, again, is something that you guys, this is probably brand new for a lot of you guys that know me. Probably saying, man, whoa, wait a minute, man, this couldn't be. But it is. It is. Again, once you look behind the curtain, it'll never be the same, But again, I think it, and we created, I say we as in ancestral people, Kemet, way back, ancient Egypt. We created religion, and our intentions wasn't bad. It's just they all weren't, some of them just wasn't right, Something when you're learning to do something, you don't always hit the mark as you're learning. And they experienced that back in that time. So it of course, we dwelt more so in that time in in spirituality, but again, being that we originated that. We originated that, or some of those, or at least the very first beginning of the principle of a religion, are Kemet ancestral family members were responsible for that. But what it became isn't the intent of the author, It's like a card game, and you can cheat on the card game, but the intent is for it to be played, But once you know the card game really, really well, you can do some things, that others that are just learning the card game wouldn't catch. So that's how, like the basic principles of religion, how intriguing the mind and the benefit of getting closer to something that's greater than you, whatever you call it. The benefit of that is almost like using drugs or getting drunk, or something that's I'm not gonna say getting drunk or using maybe those two, but you get the idea what I'm saying. There's the dopamine that was released in front of you, like when you make the winning shot or a hole in one. There's a euphoria that is present in oneself that sometimes they do that very thing just for that very reason, not for the sake of what it is. Like some people use drugs because of the benefit that the drug gives them physically, not because of what the drug is. You know, it's just what they're getting out of it is something that's naturally present in them that is for whatever reason currently absent, and they need a filler. And they may try liking somebody. That's not enough. They may try getting real close to somebody. That's not enough. It's love that they're looking for. So the love delivers certain pleasurable principles to the physical body that the body will just do, or the mind will assist, will create the realm for the body to follow through with, to receive just that little thing that's voided within their spiritual person. If that makes any sense. But again, it's not necessarily the religion itself. It's more so the believing in it, which we talked about that earlier, how the belief system is used from a vehicle from going from one place to another. Because we were once in a system that wasn't religious, and then we went to a religion system, which the vehicle of belief was used to go from what we knew to what we learned, and then that became the new knowing. You see what I'm saying? Kevin asked, do you think that the Bible is an accurate account of the life of Jesus, or does it mirror some other God of that time? Okay. I mean, if you want to go there, this is an open panel, right? So, I mean, you asked. I said, ask me anything, right? I'm gonna read that question one more time. Do you think the Bible is an accurate account of the life of Jesus, or does it mirror some other gods of that time? My answer is going to be, it mirrors other gods from that time. But that's a different discussion. Adam asked me a question. What do I stand on? All right. The way I'm gonna answer that question is if I assume. I need to go back up and see if that's the other half of the first question you asked. I'm trying to find that out real quick. I think I know where you're going with that. What do I stand on? Okay. I stand on balance. There it is. Cat's out the bag. Balance. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not God. It's not the devil. It's not even right or wrong.
Adam said invite him in.
It's balanced.
Invite Adam in.
It's balanced. So that's what I stand on. I stand on balance. Adam, my producers have red flagged me that you'd like to join the show. If that's the case, go ahead and send me that request, buddy, and we can go ahead and move on from here. There are some other questions that perhaps I can get back to if you want to go ahead and share the panel with me. Go ahead, jump right in. The story is, this is a statement coming from Kaya's father. The story is being altered to the writer's advantage. Well, absolutely. Absolutely. You hit it right on the head. Absolutely, and not just the advantage of the writer, but the agenda of the of you know, no one would just make a again. Let's talk about the football guy, right? The football guy, the football coach, he wouldn't make any changes if well enough was good enough, right? If the quarterback drops that ball more than 3 times, you know what? He's out. Give a damn how good he is. He's done. That's a wrap. You're going to explain what happened from over there. We're going to bring someone else in, but we're going to stop that process, right? So that's the same thing, man. You got, yeah, man. Come on, you guys. You're killing me here. Let's okay, I've done something wrong here, you guys. Again, I'm fairly new at this part, but there you go. Hey, I'm back. Hey, okay, now where were we? I don't know what Jesus is like. Let me All right. All right. Again, you guys, you know, we're just having a discussion. I don't mean to make light of something that, you know, pretty serious, but you know, it is what it is. We have a statement from Kai's father. It says, I don't know, but Jesus is like an imaginary friend for grown-ups. Yeah, I can see where you're going with that. Oh, Adam, you have to send a request. You send me the request and you're in, buddy. It's just that fast. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm waiting on you. Norman states it's the same as gangbanging. It will never be a core. I'm sorry, you guys. It will never, Norman states, it's the same as the gangbanging. It will never be a core until we challenge the truth from root, or should I say the origin. Well, anytime, you know what, and that was one of my, you know, I have my little footnotes here, which I haven't even got into. We've just been talking. But that's again, that's one of the things that we're talking about here is I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it, not be offensive, man. I want, and again, as we go, my disclaimer is, you know, I have the freedom of speech, right? We all do. But again, I don't want to drop a boulder in a building without my family having a chance to get out. So, but I'm not going to be, because I really am upset and frustrated a lot more than I'm expressing, at least in this show, about the trickery. You know, it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. It's not balanced. Put it that way. You guys may want to try to go back and say, oh yeah, it's not balanced. If it was balanced, it'd be fair. And fair is fair. No one argues that, right? If we say 3 + 3 is 6, right? We all agree that that's fair. We all agree to that. So, if someone changes it, because once someone changes it into anything other than fairness, it becomes unfair. You change it 1 point. If my bag was off by 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, I don't care. The guy's been knowing the guy for 50 years. Been doing business with the guy 50 years. Let him bring you some hay. Let it be 1 point short. You got a problem, right? Why? Because it's not fair. That's not the point. The absence of the difference isn't the point. The point is that this deal's not fair. So when things aren't fair, they tend to get under my skin a little personally. Now, I'm very lenient. I'm starting to run out of that leniency with that because it's not, it doesn't turning the other cheek only turns the other cheek. Turning the other cheek only turn. And these are just the areas of my life. I got a lot of things I work on. A lot of different things I have to address myself and work on. Now, I'm not there. I'm on my way. I'm not there. You know? So I'm just saying, you know. Without change, nothing changes. You know, if it's been 2,000 years or 20,000 years. 20 days. Without change, nothing changes. And for one to expect something different in the same routine is what? It's insanity. To do the same thing over and expect something different, definition of insanity. So anyway, I didn't really mean to go there, but some of these things you guys are saying, maybe they hit home with me. Okay. Stand by, you guys. We're gonna add. We're gonna be adding one of our viewers. Decided he wants to be a guest. So let's just see what he has to say. How you doing tonight, young man?
Man, I'm chilling.
Where you at? You must be in my Bluetooth. Hold on. Hello? Are you there?
Yeah, how you doing, man? What's going on with you?
Yep, I think I can hear you. Hold on. I want to make sure not only I can hear you, but others can hear you as well. Oh, there you go. Hello?
Yeah. You
Now.
hear me?
Yeah, do your
Yeah,
thing. Do your thing. How you doing? What you
man.
doing tonight? What's on your mind? Tell the people what you all about, man, and what makes you want to share the screen with me this evening.
Man, I'm just tapping in, man. You know what I'm saying? Uh, we seem to want to have an enlightening discussion. I had asked you a little question earlier. What I meant by your squares, you know, what you stand on. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily religious, because I don't deal with religion. I'm not a religious person, so I'm not dealing with religion. But just in life in general, like what do you hope to accomplish? We have this one life of consciousness. So what is that to you? What is that standpoint to you? You know, when this flesh drops, what was it that you built into existence into this world? Like basically, what's the ultimate plan or thing that you hope to achieve or do in this life with the conscience that you have?
Oh, okay, so then that particulates the question. So it's not so much overall. You're talking about who I am currently and my current state of mind. What do I look to get out of my current state of mind? Or are you talking about like, you know, there you go. You're looking a lot much clearer now. So just asking me, what am I looking to get out of my current state of mind? What am I looking out of becoming consciousness? I mean, you can.
I'm basically, because
You
people
give
were
me
asking me, do you believe in
what
God and stuff like that. People were asking me, do you believe in
okay.
God, things of that nature. So I was asking you, was kind of outside of that realm of religion outside of that realm of
Yeah,
religion, it was just
you
what'd you say?
you're breaking up pretty good. Where you first was at, I was able to hear you just fine, but where you moved to, you started breaking up.
Hold on.
But where you was just at, you were just fine. And that's again something else, you guys. Who else is watching? And you guys ever want to come on here and do like Adam did? Just make sure that you know where you are, where this how good the signal is or is not, where you are before you come
Can
on,
you
so
hear me
that we
now?
can
Is it cool?
try and be um,
Is it
in the
cool
right
now?
place. Absolutely. Now, go ahead.
I was
Now you
saying,
have
basically,
agendas at the top.
I was taking that question outside of the religious factor because I'm not religious. What I'm saying is I was taking that question in knowledge is power. So with your consciousness and what your level of understanding, what is the greatest thing? You know, like when people were asking about Christianity, they would say, "Oh, the greatest thing is to, get to heaven or something." That's the whole purpose of their life as they're walking. They're doing everything to try to accomplish getting to heaven. So, in your standpoint, from your square, what you stand on, what is the ultimate thing you hope to accomplish or get done in this existence you have, from your point of
Hmm.
view?
Hmm. Well, at first, I had a goal of well, we're not talking about at first. As of now, my agenda is to get as many brothers and sisters that don't know any better, or don't know that they don't know any better, an opportunity to reevaluate themselves independently. See, when I first became conscious, I was in the closet about it. I didn't tell nobody. I didn't even tell my own son. I didn't say nothing. That's because the information that I discovered was so damning that I was more angry than anything, and I didn't want to express to my seed my consciousness from an anger perspective, being that I'm just barely learning about the whole, this whole consciousness stuff, or not just consciousness, but the whole knowing myself and the whole knowing of who we are and what we are, not just who we are, but also what we are and how we became to the position and the condition that we are in pre-existing this time. So with this information, the more that I can get the boogeyman from being under the bed, the more adults can live with more liberty. See, I'm experiencing liberty like I can't even explain. But when I was involved in a religion, I had the liberty, but it was within the circumference of the religion. So in that point, I was right, and I was in absolute truth in that religion because I was living it by its rules and regulations to the fullness of my awareness. But once my consciousness became aware, once my consciousness, I became woke to my consciousness, then I became aware of what it is that I was in. You know what I'm saying? You can stand in a bucket of
Right.
shit long enough for people to tell you. If you work at a place where they shovel shit or at a garbage place, at a while, you'll just get used to it. It wouldn't stink to you. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it just become a way. It's just so psychologically, religion plays the same thing, or religiousness plays the same thing. So you can be in something that you know is not right, but you'll keep doing it just because you've been doing it. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So hopefully, to answer your question, what am I getting, or what do I hope to get out of it? What my whole thing would be, it would be to make people like just like myself, like a lot of these people that are watching this, a lot of them know me personally, but never knew that I would have ever said the things I said at the beginning of the show. You see what I'm saying? They only knew
Yeah.
that perspective of me. What I would like to get out of it is that I have the liberty to think with the wisdom of my own culture, right? And still be that same character to them individuals without with me liberating myself from that bondage will show others that them too can be liberated from it, and it can help people in several different ways. It's not just in the ways that I know. It can help people
Right.
in the ways that I don't even know where their burdens are. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
So
Can you
that's
see
what
me
I hope.
correctly like this?
I
I
mean,
really have to get
you using your phone, so you got to be a little bit more clever than that. Come on now, you see,
because I had to put it up to the charger. It was kind of. I'm trying to.
so
That's cool.
again, that
Well, look, man. I mean, I understand that, and I hear that, man. Can you hear me?
yeah, absolutely. I just didn't get caught up on the people's comments. But go ahead, go ahead.
Right. Well, my standpoint is from love and remedy. Okay. Now, I represent Christ. You know what I'm saying? And that's the one thing that people must first understand is that it's all about Christ. And I remember I was in the live speaking with Kai's father. Now I'm not saying I am Christ, but I am the physical representation, me right here. You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
would
Said
see.
Christ was.
Well, I can see why you would want people to believe in it.
Well, I'm saying that. Well, he made a comment. Christ is an imaginary friend for grown-ups, but what I'm saying is I'm the physical representation, just like any other brother that's representing Christ, bringing the doctrine and the gospels. So, uh, because Christ is in them, so even though you don't per se see the Christ, you see the physical body, which is we are the we are the kingdom, and the kingdom is within us, and His Spirit is within us. So we are the physical, fleshly representation. You know,
Okay,
that's
well,
my
well,
stand.
can okay, let's look at that just for the sake of the statement from Kyle's father. Let's just look at that. Uh, you say you're the physical representation of who he said was, or I don't know if he said it in particularly, but it was a statement somewhere around about
The
uh,
imaginary character.
imaginary friend for grown-ups, right? Okay, so and you're
But
and
the key thing is I said anybody else coming with the doctrine. I'm not saying me, I am Christ. I'm not saying I'm Christ. I'm saying I'm a physical representation, like a agent. I am an agent of a living,
would,
you know,
would it be fair
of
to say?
Christ. And
Would it be fair to say that you are a manifestation of that imagination?
I say of truth.
Would it be fair to say you're a manifestation of that imagination? He
Well,
said
if
that
I
Christ
manifest it, does
is
it
meant
become
for
real?
growth. You're saying you're the physical perspective of that. So, in elaborating to his statement, it appears that you're saying that you are the manifestation of that imaginary Christ.
Yeah, because I'm bringing the same words, the same doctrine as Christ. So anybody
Okay,
else that's bringing the doctrine of Christ is a
that's fair. That's
representation
fair
of
to
Christ.
accept. No, I don't mean to cut you off because you are. I'll give you a pen. I'll give you a minute. But that's fair to say. But just on the behalf of my of the statement, you're not saying that he's wrong. You're saying that you are the manifestation of his statement. Is that what I'm getting?
I'm just a, I'm,
I don't know what happened to Adam, folks, but I was just trying to clarify if he was saying that he was a manifestation of the imagination, which yeah. Uh, I really wish you could have elaborated on that a little bit because that's a fact. Uh, but nonetheless, Anybody else? What do you got? Who's out there? We're just having a too graphic. We're not trying to be, you know. We're just having a open panel. Anybody's more than welcome to if you want to come on. You know, you can do what he just did. Just let me know. I'm watching your comments. I'm trying to keep up with them. There's a couple look like I may have missed. We have a statement from Ronnie. It says it sounds like he's on the fence and not sure about what he is. I'm not really sure. It was a pretty unique place to drop off at, but nonetheless, again, and you can be. Come on, man! If your phone died, you couldn't text that. Maybe. I'm just out here with you guys, man, and we're just trying to share information. You know, each one teach one, and you know, I just like to have the discussion. You know, because man, you know, a lot of things that we want to talk about, we won't do it because we're not. You know, we just haven't went there yet. You know, I'm putting myself out there. I know this is gonna change. I know it's not. I don't think it's gonna change any people's opinion of me. And if it does, that's fine because it is what it is. But you're not gonna get a change of character from me. You know, if there's something that you 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 don't like that I said or you heard or you watching or whatever, you know, we all are entitled to our opinions, and we do have a freedom of speech, at least, you know, ideally. So I'm just, being that there's no boogeyman under my bed, I don't have to worry about that type of, there being a consequence for me trying to sharpen the consciousness of my friends and particularly my family. We all came about the same way. I'm the last one out the door. I'm talking to my direct family, my immediate family. Y'all know I'm the last one out the door. So I was the one that was watched around the house the most. I mean, watched, you know, around the house the most as the baby. And this is some of this information you guys are probably hearing for the first time. You know, it is what it is. But I hope that that it's encouraging. It encourages you to say that, or to see that someone is normal, such as myself, someone who is loving, fair. You know, you guys got to just you know who I am. You know, those that do know me, know who I am. Know that since I've started becoming more aware of the things that I've was or been involved in, becoming, you know, again, like what I talked about earlier tonight about being a forensics, you know, now that I basically took my own personal self and spread it myself out before myself and looked at myself and discovered things that I didn't like. This had nothing to do with religion, and nothing to do with my parents, and nothing to do with anybody else. It was just looking at the breakdown of my whole person. There were some features in there that I personally been living with for years, and it's been fine. I've been doing it, all right. Been doing it, but there's some features in it that I don't like. Now I can just, you know, just leave them there and call it good because it can work. It's been working, right? But if I really want to, you know, if you got so much room in your house and there's some garbage in there, before you can bring anything in, even if it's not garbage, before you can bring something new in, you got to be willing to let something old go. You know, you got to exchange the space, you know, and I had to let a lot of things that consume my spiritual space. I had to open the bird cage and, you know, like I say, you love it, let it go, if it come back, right? But if it don't, then it's not, right? Well, guess what? Bird never came back. So for me to close the birdcage and continue to live life as if the bird is coming back, or the bird is back, it's not a real reality. So I've sharpened myself personally, taught myself, researched. I've done things. I've been laughed at, talked about, been called all kind of names, evil names. I've been known as all kinds of strange things. But I don't care about that no more. You know why? Because I took the matter out of the concern, so it doesn't bother me. How was I able to do that? By knowing myself, which was the whole purpose of this whole thing tonight, was to try to give you just a little bit, or even have a discussion with some of you, to to have the ability to look at yourself and discover the things that, what some of these things within yourself you're doing just because it pleases others, not because it pleases you yourself. In order for you, and then if you are going to address that thing, then you're going to have to deal with the negative polarity to the thing that you're trying to change. And a lot of times that can be uncomfortable, such as me coming out and saying, answering one of the questions that came up when a person asked me something about it, to the point of, if am I Christian? And so being that, this is live, we're not pulling strings, there's no hocus pocus, I'm supposed to be keeping it real, right? So there was another way I could have introduced you guys to that, because you guys always knew me as that, right? But just to the meat and potatoes like we were discussing, the answer would be no, because I'm no longer involved in the corresponding groups' way of rationalizing what's good and what's bad for my personally. Now again, I could do it and not make any waves in the water and call it good, and I'll just do what we've been doing. But in order to look that thing in the face, or whatever that is, or whoever that is, or whatever that's keeping you from addressing the reality to the things that you question within your own self. It ain't got nothing to do with me, nothing to do with nothing else. That's when you scratch in your own head about thinking about something, that means you're not sure. And if you were to go over that, to think about that, to become sure, that's not an evil thing. I don't give a damn which route you took to discover the truth, as long as your end result was that you came to a conclusion that this thing can be questioned no more. Once you get to the end of a thing, the questioning of it goes away. So as long as there's a question over a question, it's still questionable. Once it gets to a point to where it's no longer questionable, then find comfort in that area. But as long as you can say, well, man, what if this was, if this was going to happen, well, then then it's not. The moment you say something's not, then it's not. The moment you say it is, then it is. You got to come to a conclusion within your own person what it is. Because to please me, we'll have to do one thing. To please him, you'd have to do something else. Or to please her, you have to do something else. Please yourself, you have to do something else. But if you took the matter out of all those concerns and just pleased yourself, those that will appreciate the change that you made within yourself will please you by nature. There's no trickery in that. There's no hustle in that. It wouldn't cost you nothing. You won't need nothing. You don't need a person to call you up every 15 minutes to tell you that they love you. You don't need the little heart emojis every 3 or 4 days to know that they love you, because you know for a fact, once you come to the conclusion that you remove the matter and the concern out of it, then you have your liberty. But in order to do that, you have to let go of what matters. So in religion, there are principles that matter. You can't go into a church wearing whatever you want, right? They tell you come in how you want, but if you came in with something outrageous, they're going to address you at the door. Why? Because the majority of the group don't agree that that's okay. But if that's all you had and you wanted to do it anyway, you can't, right? So that is an organized way of corresponding with the group of people that serve a particular purpose, or deity, or God, or servant, or Lord, or whatever cranks your tractor. That wholeness has to have a governing in order for it to work. It's like a motor. If you don't have that, everything working, like I was talking to the guy earlier about a pie. You cut 12 slices in it. I'm not going to get into astrology with you, but that's another story. But and just in astrology, every house has a different energy. And once you start learning what house has what energy, and you know what signs bring what energy, then you know what houses that are to your advantage to be in. Now, one would say, hey, man, you shouldn't even be talking about that, knowing, letting people know, man, what are you, man, you trying to... No. That's what liberty gives you, the opportunity to analyze yourself and things around you so that you can find the best decision and what's a choice for you in your own self, for your own personal matter. Now, some may say they don't belong to a group. Some may say they're not religious. But if you have a liberty, if you don't have the liberty to do and say what you want, then you don't have that thing that's called liberty. The rules and regulations and what you can and can't say. I can come on and say what I want, right? I know some people are going to say some things, and this is new. But now that the cat's out the bag, we're just going to turn it up from here. Every show's going to get warmer and warmer, until it's smoking. And you get the idea and the gist of what it is that I'm saying. And like the guest that I had on the show, my purpose will start to come into view as people begin to get the concept, and then they can live. If people knew how great that they were independently, they wouldn't think that someone else was greater than them. But because they're told you're not, you're naturally jealous if you're around those that are told they are. So again, the more you can begin to learn what you're saying, and I'm doing this for myself. This is how I know this. Just some areas of my life is very uncomfortable with me. I was looking at myself from that perspective. Some things I see, I was like, whoa, it is, But it's not nothing that I can't change. It's nothing I can't negotiate. I'm not bound by that principle of my past. I'm not bound by the principle of the last 15 minutes. I'm not bound. No one's supposed to come and snap this. It's like this. There's no boogie. The way I like to put it is, there's no boogeyman under the bed. I'm a grown man, and besides, I looked under there years ago, and there's nobody under there that is going to get me for being free, for speaking my mind, or for saying these things that I'm saying. Is let's just say this, for example, and I got a few more minutes here. I came on a little late, but nonetheless, I got a few more minutes. Let's say, for example, and I know we really haven't really got going, so you don't really know. I haven't really revealed a lot of things yet. So but let's just say, for example, if I was wrong about what I believe or what I claim I know, wherever my higher power would be, right? It sounds absolutely wrong, right? Being that the love that is already within myself, I cannot lose. I cannot lose that relationship. It's not, let's say you have a son or a daughter. Is there something that they can do that will cause you not to be their son or daughter? So if that can happen in our lame brain or in our in our thinking capacity, you don't think that rule applies? It came from somewhere. Where else would that rule apply at? If it's in you, it came from you. Again, what's up, nephew? Ain't seen you since you was 2. Something like that. Alright, you guys, man. I appreciate you guys coming out, man. Hanging out with me for a little bit. Appreciate not getting a bunch of calls, text messages during this time, so it didn't really mess up my So it really didn't mess up my program too much, man. You guys did great, man. You guys didn't come in and nail me with, a whole bunch of outlandish, crazy things, which you could have. But if you had it, we would have went there, because I would have just had to put in that work and deal with that. But nonetheless, man, I really appreciate everybody that came out, man, and listened in. So I'll be back out. I don't know when. Sometime soon, man. I'll be dropping another one of these again. And again, we was just touching on knowing ourselves a little bit. And I hope I didn't veer off the topic too much. I try to stay in my lane on my yellow brick road to y'all to try to get my point across to you guys. I don't always hit the ball, man, but I do show up for practice, though. That you can count. I've got all your guys', or everybody that came in here tonight. I got your name. Oh, I got your name. Oh, I got your name. All right. All right, I got one last question. I'm not going to deal with this question too much right now, but I am going to read it because it did come up on the screen. This question comes from Ronnie, and it states 666. Help them with understanding these numbers. I'm going to wrap this up, but I promise you, I'm going to take a note of that right now, Ronnie. And I tell you, the next time I go live and I stream this, I'll tag you in, and I will continue, or it'll probably be a different topic, but I will follow up with that statement, that question, or I will give them some understanding about what those numbers mean on the next time I do the show, and I will notify you when I go on, so that you will be aware of that when I do that, in case you want to elaborate with the information, or from the information I give. Nonetheless, I send all you guys, or some of you guys, I hit the wave button there. I'm still trying to learn this. I need a big screen, regular size laptop or something, Right now I'm just doing this on my phone, so it's a little tight for me. But again, thanks everybody. I'm out. We'll put in a little bit more time than I intended to, but it was fun. And I did take notes, or anything I forgot, I will come back on next week, and we'll do it again. Hold on, I got a closer for you guys. Hold on. Again, question everything. Question everything until it's unquestionable. Then believe that. If you just gotta believe something. But that's not my closure. Hold on. All right, family. I screwed up somewhere with my closure, but as I grow, we grow. As we grow, I grow. Thanks for your time. We'll do it again. Peace. I love you.